Welcome back, crypto media friends. Here at the channel, where we talk about not just NFTs and sort of what's hot, what's dropping, but also how they're dropping and how we can use them as examples as creators to better understand the format, so that perhaps you are going to be the next one to create a collection like Vogu, and I'll be partnering with you and probably buying the heck out of them. But today we're going to talk about Animetas. Again, we're going to talk about the liquidity pool. So welcome, DeFi friends. Those of you who are just done checking your Uniswap and learning the hard way about impermanent loss and how this works in NFTs is kind of exciting. And so Animetas has gone live yesterday with it, and I started to touch on it, but I wanted to speak more with some of the mods there and get an understanding of what's going on so I can explain it to you. And so also I didn't lose my, I only have the one Animetas, but now I have two Animetas, and I'll show you how and why. Then also I want to talk about the Onis. That Oni drop, I mean, if you were there, that was brutal. And I think a lot of people, when you go to the Discords, are super excited, like, oh my gosh, Onis are blowing up because they got sorry guys, I always have to lean in just to get the light. But like the Onis are blowing up. It's half an ETH. The floor is half an ETH. That's amazing. That's just barely covering your gas. And this is something we've talked about before. When you look at that price, you have to factor in the amount of gas that took to mint for those price wars in a very small, finite portion of the collection. Not small, but like a portion of the collection. A lot of it had been done in the pre-sale. And so it was just, it was gone before it even started, really. And I think the average seemed with people to be about 0.4, 0.45 just to mint. Now to get it onto OpenSeas, to transact it, move it into a different wallet. You're right at 0.5 as a floor, because if you sell any less, you've lost money. And who wants to lose money? Because this is a great time to be in on a project when they haven't revealed yet. So you probably have, if you hit the like and the subscribe and the bell notification, you're going to get this right away, and you're going to know that you have about 12 hours or so left to purchase one before the reveal. So it's in that sort of that stage after mint and right before reveal. The sort of the gambling stage, the shell game stage, where you don't know what you have. You could pick one up right off the floor, and it could be super rare. And that's the gamble. Is I think a lot of people think like, oh great, as soon as I buy one, I can see if it's rare, and then maybe flip it. That's the short term view of it. And I think for Onis, it seems like a very short-term view for me, guys. I'm not fudding on anything. I think it's a really great, interesting animation or rendering of sort of this gorilla style animation. But A, it's a derivative of gorillas. Okay, but I think it's cool. But B, I'll show you guys what I'm watching some of the owners do through their contracting, through their wallets. It would be you would straight up say it was a rug pull. You'd be like, they're taking the money right out of the account. I'm allowing the notion that they're just moving around their money, but I'll show you that they emptied their wallet today. But again, maybe it's just part of the pre-sale and they moved it to a different wallet to host. But $400,000 gone. But let's talk about the vault. And so so I went and I had to go to SushiSwap, and at SushiSwap, that's where you would get the anime token. Okay, so once you get the anime token, you go to the website of Animetas, and here you can see this is the vault. This is where if you have an Animetas that let's just say you had a floor one and you weren't able to sell it, you can bring it here and essentially trade it in for an anime token. Now you can also stake anime tokens in the liquidity pool, and so that essentially what you're building here is an ability to swap out. So somebody can come here and buy an Animetas without the gas fees. And so, you're saving, and I'll show you, some money. You're going to lose some, honestly, to swap. So that's still, the move is, if you're committed to this community, is to stake or to purchase a fair amount of anime tokens, so that perhaps, in the future, you're going to use them for other purposes. I'm sure they're going to have other utility for them. It seems like this team has a really interesting and good complex roadmap to where you feel like they're going to be around for a while. And so, and here, so you have the liquidity pool, and I think it's just super exciting that you have this ability to place them in a space in this vault, and contribute in a sense to the community. So you can tell, like, you'll see sequences. There were some you could tell there were like 3 or 4 different sequences, and so 757599. So you could tell there were like people who bought like a handful, and they were just kind of they took their rarities and they're going to hold on to those, and they just wanted to lay off either on the floor if they hadn't sold them already here, so that they could get anime tokens. You can stake and create help create the liquidity pool to allow this purchasing to happen within its own marketplace, if you will. Less gas fees, certainly. Once you get the anime tokens, no gas fees. It was just straight up by about 110, and it cost me, because I thought maybe there was going to be gas fees, but they were 105 on the dot, and so I thought that was super cool. Here I go after this guy with the red headband, and he had this kind of Wolverine beard looking thing that I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, maybe I'll go after him. He has a good look. But I will say, I looked at rarity tools just to kind of ensure that maybe there wasn't anything on this floor, because there were just so few that maybe somebody who really had a super rare one who just didn't care. You can see gas fees just to get the anime ended up being about $38.62. Luckily, I refreshed and dropped it down about $6 there, $8. And so this was the thing. I was getting a bit. There was a bit of glitches going through. This is a sort of a secondary add-on, if you will, to the website that they're licensing out Animetas to a company called NFTs. So NFTs, as you can see, they do this for other projects, to where you can create your own marketplace, a private marketplace, just to sort of swap between the collections. So if you wanted to get out of one and maybe go after a different type, this is going to be the format for it. And so it wasn't, there were some glitches, but in a sense I kept trying to get this guy and redeem him, and I kind of was like getting these scary messages, burn amount exceeds balance. So there were little kinks, but ultimately I just kind of kept examining sort of my balance, and then looking at the one that I wanted, trying to buy it. And then eventually it said insufficient. Well, I said, okay, why is it insufficient? Oh, okay, you've taken my money, but still the guy was still in there in the vault. And so I was like, well, I guess I have to go to OpenSeas and see it. And there it is. Now that guy is owned by me, by us. So welcome 2372 to the NFT collection. And so, I think it was super easy to use, and kind of cool. And again, it helps people who love the collection to sort of keep the floor up, in a sense, to not allow it to drop too far down. Because much like, some of these others with the gas wars, they're all down at like 0.3, 0.2 something. Just because of the natural sort of, I think, course of moving on to something that's hotter, that's not hot, not as hot anymore until the next announcement, the next influencer who really goes nuts for it. Let's see, 1 second. Ooh, hold on, I have a guess. Let me let you watch the Onis website. I'll be right back. Okay, back with you. Sorry. Okay, the website. We went over and talked about the drop yesterday, and the result. As we talked about, was a floor set at about 0.5 ish, because you can tell people are looking to kind of get their money back in a sense, and it didn't look super promising, like in terms of like a secondary marketplace start. This wasn't particularly super hot, but I still know this collection is going to be very popular, and it is very vehement amongst its followers that it's going to do well, but in terms of like it's how the marketplace is reacting, it's tepid, and so it has a floor that is representative of people who are kind of just trying to get out at this point, and whether that's by buying a bunch and they're just trying to sell before the reveal to kind of cover their original purchase. Because if you bought 10, you can hold on to 2 and then potentially sell 8 and have made enough to cover your 2 quote unquote free. And so there's a lot of techniques that people are playing with, but I think a lot of people are also, the market is getting hip to that to some degree, and but I still think it's exciting. So I may get into one. I don't know. I've got about 12 hours to think about it. But the contract was a bit interesting to me because I was just kind of checking on it, and I saw that they took all their money out of their wallet that they had made the previous. Now here's the thing. I showed this, the previous account of $450,000 yesterday. This could be just a pre-sale account, and I'm not saying there are plenty of rugs or anything, but I just noticed in their transactions here that they took it out and they just transferred it, wherever that may be. It's just not where you thought it was, not where the original contract was. And so if you put in the comments if you think this is a indicator of a rug pull, because I've heard it's always kind of been. That's what happened to Sad Frogs, and people really got freaked out with Sad Frogs, and I don't sense that here. The artwork is much better, and I think the community is super strong here, and certainly I feel when I'm seeing the mods interact, it's they're digging the community, they're digging their ability to enjoy community, and I think that's awesome as creators to have this thing that you made, either being an artist or partnering with an artist, and creating a community together based upon the work and the narrative that you kind of create around it. I think that's super fun and exciting, and there's so many great experiments going on right now. I think Vogu is they're working on their lore. We're doing like writing sessions where the mods will be like, okay, so what's your character? Animetas, same thing. You can contribute to the lore by writing about your character, and it potentially becoming part of their narrative, which is fun, and it's super awesome, and to be able to contribute to a story like that. And I think even more so just as a creator, just having this ability. We talk a lot about the Glue Factory show, and how we have some great Hollywood TV writers. Go check out that episode. Amazing writers, from Key and Peele, from Saturday Night Live, really good writers, And so for me, I'm like, that's a roadmap. You put those people into we call a package here in Hollywood. Hello, there's the. I don't think I can get in the. I shot too much there, right across the way. Sorry, I don't want to blow up my neighbors too much. Which, by the way, I do this overtime because my neighbor right next to me, I think he hates crypto. I don't. Or just potentially, just despise anything that's not, television writing, which he does on his show. And so, I think, that's kind of it. Hit the like, subscribe for more tales from Hollywood about these new NFTs that are coming out and how to utilize them. Not just from an investment standpoint of how to get in on them, but how to collect them and be part of the community. And hopefully eventually understand, because this is what these guys at Oni did. They were just watching it, watching how these tools are unfolding. They met on Clubhouse, and through who knows if they've even met physically. It's just like we're doing this. I'm meeting friends from all over the world who are into this scene, and I think that's a cool aspect to it as a creator, is to team up with people that you have a certain aesthetic kinship with, and certainly by genre there's great friendships to be made in this space. And I think that's super exciting about NFTs at the moment, because you can't do that on DeFi, can you? It's just DeFi is like again, thanks for cruising by and watching this after checking your Uniswap today, your LPs today, wherever you're staking or you're pooling or farming, what have you. Welcome, and